Over the past few weeks, the People's Democratic Party has been rocked by a leadership crisis due to attempts by some members of the party to oust its national chairman, Uche Secondus. However, on Tuesday, party stakeholders met in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, and proposed that the national convention of the PDP previously slated for December now should take place in October. Reacting to the development, a member of the PDP Board of Trustees, Chief Olabode George, hailed the outcome of the meeting, noting that the Secondus-led National Working Committee had turned the party into a private company. He said the PDP had woken up and was ready to wrestle power from the ruling All Progressive Congress. According to Chief George, he had considered leaving the PDP, but for the prompt intervention of the party's governors and other stakeholders. Before we bring in Chief Bode George, let's take a look at how the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, survived the attempts to unseat him. Georgina Ndukwe Eziaika reports.
A rare gathering of PDP leaders, members of the Board of Trustees, and those of the Governors Forum, with the full complement of the various organs of the party in attendance. The single agenda: how to resolve the fate of the national chairman.
Whatever we can do today, we must try all that we can to solve the problem of this party, please. Therefore, we should put away all our personal interest base and only discuss for the benefits of our party.
And that they did. After 2 hours of deliberations, the meeting came up with its resolution. In a deft political move, the party's national convention, earlier scheduled for December, will now hold not later than the end of October. And the national chairman, Uche Secondus, will oversee the convention. The National Executive Council will meet next week to constitute a national convention planning committee.
The zoning committee for the party position should also be constituted by the same National Executive Committee to be held immediately. NEC of the party is meeting most likely next week, and all of those issues will be addressed, and that NEC will be convened by the chairman of the party, who is constitutionally endowed to do so.
However, before the issues were resolved, the pro and anti-Secondus groups had their say.
To continue to remobilize our people, to continue with the protests. If you do not resign, there is no any option than to decline our membership of the party, that's the PDP, to look for another political party.
Secondus led the several protests to the United Nations headquarters, EU Embassy, British Embassy, also INEC office. He also led the protests that stopped the National Assembly from confirming Loretta Onoche as INEC commissioner. Most recently, he commissioned the electronic regulation of members, first in the history of PDP. And that is why we are saying that Secondus should complete his tenure.
Moving forward, the PDP plans to register 40 million members on its e-registration platform launched on Monday ahead of the 2023 elections. 10,000 persons were registered within 24 hours the platform was launched.
As of today, we are formally launching this e-registration exercise of the party using the following states as pilot: Adamawa State, Ekiti, Osun. The other states are Taraba State, Anambra, Sokoto, and Edo State. So we'll run a pilot from today till Sunday this week, and from Monday next week, we'll commence a full national rollout.
The resolution of the meeting on Tuesday has put to rest all the agitations regarding the resignation of the PDP chairman. Members hope the squabbles within the party will end, giving the party a better chance to wrest power from the All Progressives Congress at the next general elections. Georgina Ndukwe, Arise News.
Now joining us to explain his stance on the crisis that has enveloped the PDP in recent weeks is Chief Olabode George. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the morning show. I just go straight to you. What do you have against the party chairman of the PDP, that's Prince Uche Secondus?
Good morning. The question is very interesting to me. I have absolutely nothing personal with our chairman. What I have is the management style. Agree without being disagreeable. I have said it severally that this party is not a private company. The Constitution, which is the ground norm, must be followed to the letter. Once you start deviating and defying the Constitution of the party, the elders must raise their voices and say, no, stop there. You are taking us to hell. So that's all I said, that look, the issue is not personal. There's nothing personal between me and Total. You know, that's his nickname. Nothing. But we love this party. The founding fathers made sure that the PDP is the only national party in its colors, from the southern flanks all the way to the north. That's why, you know, for the first time to have a national party that has all the tribes of Nigeria as members. It had never happened in the past history. So when you start wobbling and the platform is not stable, you must talk. If you love the party, if you are concerned with the party, if you are dedicated and loyal to the party, you must talk. So we cannot keep quiet because we are heading now into 2023. There are still so many things to be done. So I was happy when the elders, that is the Board of Trustees, you know, that is the upper chamber, the trustees are the real owners of the party who can call the shots. So they discussed it yesterday, and the outcome was absolutely acceptable to everybody. You know, so I have nothing personal between me and Tota. He knows what I had done for him in the past to assist him. But now when things are going wrong and the party is wobbling, we got to talk. Because look at the state of the nation. Look at the state of the nation. Nigerians are looking for our party to get themselves organized, to be able to give a really strong punch during the next set of election. And that's all. I have nothing against him. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But it is the system that was not, you know, in a position to fight. Because if your party is wobbling and you want to shoot from that platform, how can you punch? You can't. So I'm happy with the decision that, in fact, I said it severally, that there's no need for them to be fired. What they need to do is to set up the National Electoral Committee, you know, the Convention Committee. That Convention Committee will take over all the processes from the ward level to the National Convention. And none of them should have any hand in it, period. We did it before. I worked in the National Secretariat for 10 years. I was once Deputy National Chairman Southwest. I became Deputy National Chairman South, and I became Deputy National Chairman overall for 10 years. So it is not a personal thing. We should follow the Constitution, period.
Well, Chief Bode George, I'm just curious to know why you blame Senator Bola Tinubu for almost everything, including the crisis in your party's NWC and Prince Uche Secondus. And I'm saying that because there was a memo you sent to the NWC's meeting yesterday titled, let me just get that right, Special Meeting of PDP Leaders, My Position. And item 12 out of the 14 items, you said you were certain that the NWC has sold your party to Bola Tinubu. I'm curious to understand what exactly you were talking about and why you keep blaming Bola Tinubu for everything. Don't you think you make him larger than life?
That is not the issue. First of all, I didn't know how that document got to the press. That was meant for discussion at the meeting, because it's a family meeting. I will not divulge my own information in the public. You know, if you have a family quarrel, you don't go to the marketplace to try and start discussing your issues. I was shocked that the thing got out to the press. But having said that, you know, I'm prepared to defend what I said. But I won't talk publicly because there are people who are involved. And it should be an internal consumption for the party people to listen. Because we know the role he's playing, both in Lagos and outside. He will send some people to come and join our party, you know, to be able to get information about all the plans we are doing, you know, because he has this humongous amount of money stolen from the treasury of Lagos State. I'm still saying it. And that is the greatest headache in politics in Nigeria today. How can one single man be acquiring almost 9 billion every 30 days? It doesn't make sense. And they haven't done anything. I'm expecting him to have been invited. The man who was managing director of Alpha Beta he also sent a memo signed by him of what is going on with the Alpha Beta. Nobody has done anything. Nobody. It's a shame. Absolute shame. So how it affects our party is for internal consumption. And I won't discuss that in the public. If it is us versus Bola, I'm ready. But we should warn our people. We know because of the humongous amount of money that he has stolen, he is ready to, like a cancer, getting into everywhere. It's all right. Well, I was shocked when you asked the question to Ogunlewe talking about Bola. Good gracious. Whew.
Well, two quick things, Chief George. The first is you said you even contemplated leaving the PDP because Prince Uche Secondus has turned the party into a private company. Now, there are different types of private companies. Yeah. What kind of private company did they turn the party into? A sole proprietorship or a limited liability company or a corporation? I think it's important that you clarify that. And, you know, you said if you were to leave the party, you would not go anywhere else. And then on Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State, former senator, we had Senator Adeshe Ogunlewe, and you referred to him. And he says he's the best man for the job of the presidency of Nigeria, and that he cannot think of any other person that is better than him from the Southwest.
Oh, God.
Hello, sir. Sir?
Oh.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So yes. I would like you to respond to those issues. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu the best man for the job, as Senator Ogunlewe argues, from the Southwest? And then what kind of private company did you have in mind?
No. You know, if you are defining the various types of private companies, what I am saying, if you are a sole proprietor, now you dictate whatever anybody wants. You don't even need to have a board in your company. You do it as a sole trader. So that's the kind of attitude. But then we have the constitution of the party. Once you start disregarding the tenets of the ground norm, you are undermining all the thoughts put together to get the guidelines. The Constitution is your Bible. You cannot afford to deviate, to start walking outside it. We had a court judgment who said the Constitution was defied. And you still have the arrogance to say, that's a misnomer. And so, whatever they are doing within the National Working Committee, they are divided, heavily divided. So if the center cannot hold, how can national body hold? As a member of the Board of Trustees, a life member of the Board of Trustees, it is our responsibility to call them to order. And the only way to do it was what happened yesterday. They looked at it. The discussion was very truthful. The discussion was very, very successful. And they used him. And now they have come to a conclusion. But that conclusion must be taken to neck, because that is the next most powerful body in our party. So the neck next week, if it's constituted, they will now have those members of the National Election Convention Committee who will now manage all the congresses from the ward level to the National Convention. If they want to contest, fine. They must, of course, from next week, it is the National Convention Committee that will take over the running of the the congresses and from ward to the national. So for me, that is acceptable, as long as they don't have any input there. Because when we get to the National Convention, yeah, it still has a role. We must talk to the public. There must be an auditor, external auditor's report. All those things are there. These are the things that we do normally with the party.
Chief?
So Chief? Now for Chief? The question of Bola.
No, before you respond to that, we need to take a short break, and then when we return, we'll continue with the conversation. We'll be right back, Chief. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Our guest is still Chief Olabode George, PDP chieftain. Chief Olabode George, you were going to talk about your good friend, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and whether or not he's the best candidate for the presidency of Nigeria.
You know, when I got Ogunlewe, the best candidate for this country, that kept me thinking. Because if you go into your archives, you would have seen the comments, vicious comments made by Ogunlewe against Bola Tinubu. Because you are there now. So why can't people be consistent? Why are you dancing like a masquerade in the market? If we take his rulership in Lagos, the 8 years he spent here, to put it on a scale between 1 and 10, how would we judge him? He's not more than 1. And we are still talking about the way he has appropriated of this state. The alpha beta that is still using as a money from the treasury of Lagos State is still on. For God's sake. So is that the kind of man? No, sir. No. I am ready to debate with Ogunlewe anywhere. Even in the graveyard at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's talking absolute nonsense. The best man to be Nigerian president, I will do whatever is necessary to review and renounce my citizenship. That kind of fellow, you think Lagos is better off? You all live here. See the traffic. Once the rains are here, look at the state. No drains. Look at what they put at the Bar Beach. Look, what about the toll gates? They paid him about 30-something billion for the toll gates, and the Lagos state government is just coming out to say, oh, well, they have now taken over the full control of... What happened? You paid him and Shaguri some 30-something billion to pay him off. What is going on? What the heck is going on? This is my state. I mean, we have people who are former governors. If they had behaved like what he is doing, there would have been nothing for him.
Okay.
So to have it in my head that kind of character be nominated, please go and check all of them. Something is wrong with them.
Okay, sir.
Come on.
Sir, let's come back to the PDP and we'll come back to Bola Tinubu in this, just two questions. Number one will be, a lot of people are saying it's not only about Uche Secondus, that since 1998, most PDP chairmen don't last. I mean, remember the case of Olabode George, remember the case of McCarthy and the likes. There's always one fight or another, that the PDP can't just fix his house internally. What is the problem? And secondly, Senator Kingsley Ogunlewe did go ahead to say that he has the mental capacity and is qualified. He has the best education qualification to become the president of Nigeria. What do you say to those things? I'm talking about Senator Bola Tinubu. That's what Kingsley Ogunlewe did say about it. He has the mental capacity. He's mentally aware. He knows everybody around, and he has educational qualification.
Oh God, look, I can bet you any amount of money. Let Bola bring out the certificate of his primary school, his secondary school, and the university he attended. We want to see them. Because I remember in 1998 or 1999, when we had the elections, you know, Afikuyomi was the one. When they raised and pulled his papers that he filled to INEC, they now asked him to produce all those papers. He said he went to Government College Ibadan and the Children Home School in Ibadan. We went there, we checked. What year? Where's your certificate? Nothing. When they were going to hoist him, he quickly said that it wasn't him that signed it, it was Afikuyomi that filled it. You look at your certificate. If you have genuine certificate, you went to a particular school, you must have friends who, because you won't be the only one in that college. Let's see them. I am shocked that Ogunlewe will be saying this in public. He knows for real that this fellow doesn't have all these certificates, and I'm not hiding it. Let him bring them out. Look, the days of lying and telling a load of bull is over. Completely over. Whatever you have, tell us. If you are from whatever, tell us. Why are you afraid? You must be afraid because you know that people will find out a lot of things that are illegal. That's why. The educated is the best educated, is the one who, how? Money shows the day. What was his achievement in Lagos? What?
Okay, I talked about the PDP, sir. Hey. The PDP as a party always has its internal squabbles.
Let me tell you. This party, if you compare our party, of course, there is no way, once you have a congregation, they will disagree on certain issues, but they must not be disagreeable. Because the constitution that was put together was consultation with everybody who are members of this party. And grown norm. So work within it. But sometimes you have crisis. And there is no organization, whether it is non-political organization, you will have crisis. But the measure of your competence is by rising above such crisis and resolving your problems. That is how people will know that you are really competent, you are a gentleman, you are committed, you are dedicated, and you are loyal. You know, if I bring any issue up for discussion, there'll be debates. That is democracy. They will debate it, and then they will call for those in favor or those against. And once you lose, you go home. You accept it. That is what I know as a democracy.
Okay. Chief Olabode George.
Of course.
Okay. Let me ask you, because every time you speak about Lagos, you're so passionate about the state, and you speak of the alleged mismanagement under Bola Tinubu, even though he left office years ago. And that makes me wonder, what is the alternative? Your party, the PDP, hasn't been able to, give Lagosians an alternative, really. Just looking at the last local government elections and the world elections in Lagos, the PDP performed woefully once again. So what is the alternative the PDP is offering Lagosians? What is wrong with the PDP in Lagos?
Now, you mean the system of electioneering is acceptable in the 21st century? Do you think the procedure, the process of doing election in this country is modern? It is as rotten and useless and absolutely illegal in the 21st century. Even in your bank, if you put money in your bank, if somebody puts money in your account, you will get an alert, don't you? How do you get the alert? Is it not through electronics? So the technology is available. They are running away from the technology, which we can adopt. So the whole goddamn election that we are doing is all rubbish. The LASEC was conducted. Who put the members of LASEC? Is it not Bola Tinubu? So it's like you are trying to now undermine your boss. If you went out on that election day, you see the apathy. People are completely fed up. We are struggling. We are trying to change the method of voting. It is rotten. It is useless. Absolutely useless. And then you see continue. You fill the form. You press something. It cannot go into the electronics. Why? Why? It's all by paper. They write it. They carry it by hand. We saw what they were doing. Where we won, they brought out guns to drive all the people away. You can't even get to the collation center. That's not election. It should have been electronically sent. So there is so much problem in this country. If we go to the next election, and in the Senate and the National Assembly, they gave them the opportunity that we can do electronic voting. For God's sake, the whole world is getting modernized. Where is that giant of Africa? Even the little Rwanda has gone beyond us. Why can't we modernize? What do you want to take? Is there anybody who is born by a woman who will not die one day? And when you die, do you carry anything to heaven? Why can't let us do what is right? Let us do what is just. Let us do what is equitable. For the sake of the future generations. I am so miffed about when they talk about election, you didn't win. How can you? They control all the procedure. They must be, we must get up from the debris of life and move up.
Well, Chief?
Is that a sane procedure? It is not. For God's sake. I've seen it for many years. I come from a political house. All right? I am a great-grand child of Abad Macaulay. So what is going on? What is going on? We can do it better. This country can move better. So that when you do an election that is free of all this crap, the people will realize that they were elected by their constituency, and they will work like hell, because after 4 years, you must go back and renew your mandate. Well, but they know that the procedure is useless.
Certainly.
So that's the major issue.
Certainly, Chief Olabode George. Yes, we can do better as a country and as political parties. But
absolutely.
Of course, there are persons who are saying that doing better, you know, that will not come from either the APC or the PDP. And they are looking for a third force, an alternative to the two dominant parties. But we've run out of time. We wouldn't be able to discuss that further. But thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, before you go.
We have just 30 seconds.
Tell you something
yes,
before you go.
Yes.
Now 30 seconds. You know, I have heard that. People said, let's start another party. Who are the people who will be members of that third party? Are they not the same people? It is attitudinal. The people just are not ready for anything that is said. There is too much greed, there is too much avarice, there is too much personalized ambition to do what?
Well, thank you very much,
Chief
Olabode George. Thank you very much, Chief George, for joining us this morning.